The roast was still steaming when my daughter-in-law slid the folder across the table like it belonged between the cranberry sauce and the candles. "Sign this," Veronica said, smiling so wide her cheeks looked tight. "It's just to simplify things." Everyone was there. My son Daniel at the head of the table, his sister Lily beside him, my grandson Nico trying to sneak a roll, and Veronica's mother Lorraine watching me over the rim of her wine glass like she'd paid for a seat. From the outside, Christmas dinner at Daniel's house always looked perfect. The tree glittered. The gold napkin rings matched the ornaments. The air smelled like cloves and butter and whatever expensive candle Veronica insisted was winter forest. But that folder didn't smell like Christmas. It smelled like paper cuts. I kept my hands in my lap. I didn't touch it. I didn't ask what it was. I looked at my son instead, because if anyone was going to explain why legal documents were being served with ham, it should have been him. Daniel cleared his throat and tried to laugh. "Mom, it's nothing. Veronica's just organized. You know her. Organized. That word people use when they're rearranging your life without asking." Veronica tipped her head. "We're not doing anything weird. It's responsible. You've worked so hard, Marlene. We want to make sure you're protected." "Protected," Lorraine chimed in too quickly. "At your age, it's smart. Otherwise, things get complicated. Courts, facilities. You don't want strangers deciding. Facilities." She said it softly, like a gentle suggestion, but it landed hard. That's when I realized the folder wasn't an offer. It was a test. The tree lights blinked in a slow pattern that suddenly felt like a countdown. Nico's fork clinked against his plate and the sound snapped through the room like a warning. If you've ever been handed help that felt like a trap, type respect in the comments. Veronica nudged the folder closer. Her nails were glossy red, matching the poinsettias. "Go on, it's already printed. We just need your signature, in front of everyone, so there's no confusion later." No confusion later. That phrase turned my skin cold, because it told me she'd already decided what I would become if I resisted. Confused, difficult, declining. I stayed silent. Not because I didn't understand, because I understood too well. I'm 61 years old. I clean other people's houses for a living. Deep cleans, move-outs, post-renovation dust that gets into your eyelashes. I've scrubbed baseboards in homes worth 10 times mine. I've wiped fingerprints off stainless steel while couples whispered about money behind pantry doors. And I learned something watching people who think the help can't hear. Paper doesn't show up on holidays unless someone thinks they can get away with something. Veronica's smile sharpened. "Marlene?" I reached for my water glass and took one slow sip. Then I set it down carefully, the way I do when I'm trying not to spill anything. Tea, words, tears. "What is it?" I asked, gentle. Daniel jumped in too fast. "It's like power of attorney stuff, just in case. So I can help with bills if you ever need it." Power of attorney. My mouth went dry. Veronica opened the folder with a little flourish. Inside was a stack of crisp pages, tabbed with neon sticky notes. She'd highlighted lines in yellow. One tab said "Sign here" in bold, like I was a package delivery. My eyes caught the title near the top. Durable power of attorney. Financial and property. Property. A heavier word than it looks. Veronica pointed with her pen. Right there, and initial the bottom. I didn't move. That's when Lily shifted beside Daniel. Her eyes met mine for half a second. Uncertain, worried. Lily had been quiet all evening, quiet in that way people get when they sense something ugly, but don't want to ruin the decorations. Daniel tried again, softer. "Mom, it's just to help. You've been forgetting things. Forgetting things." I hadn't forgotten anything important. I paid my mortgage, I cooked my own meals. I ran my business from a spiral notebook and a phone that still worked just fine. I forgot my reading glasses sometimes, sure, but that didn't mean I needed my house signed away in front of cranberry sauce. I looked down again, and on page 2, half covered by Veronica's hand, I saw the phrase that changed everything. Authority to convey, transfer, or encumber real property. My heartbeat didn't speed up. It slowed. Because my mind went very, very clear. This wasn't about helping with bills. This was about my house. My small brick bungalow off Maple Ridge. Nothing fancy, but mine. The one I bought after Daniel's father walked out. The one I paid for by scrubbing other people's showers and saving every extra dollar. The one I painted myself, room by room, because I couldn't afford to hire anyone, because I was the hire. Veronica's voice stayed sweet. Sign it, and we can all relax. But her eyes weren't sweet. Her eyes were counting. I don't sign things without reading them, I said quietly. Veronica's smile faltered for a breath. It's a lot of pages. We don't need to make a whole thing. Daniel's jaw tightened. Mom, please, it's Christmas. As if Christmas was a command to surrender. I nodded once, slow. Then email it to me, I said. I'll review it. Lorraine let out a little laugh. Review it? Honey, you're not a lawyer. Veronica leaned forward, voice low enough to sound caring. If you refuse, it tells us you're not thinking clearly. And then we'll have to do it the other way. The other way. My stomach turned. What other way? Lily asked suddenly, her voice sharper than she meant. Veronica didn't even look at her. The legal way, with professionals. So we can keep her safe. Safe. Facilities. Guardianship. It was all sitting under the ham like a hidden knife. I set my napkin down, still calm. I'm going to step outside for a minute, I said. Fresh air. Veronica blinked. Why? My chest feels tight, I replied. That wasn't a lie. It felt like my ribs were holding a storm. I walked into the hallway past the family photos Veronica had arranged like a museum exhibit. Daniel's cap and gown, Veronica's wedding portrait, Nico at the beach, my face cropped out of older frames like I'd been edited from the story. At the front door, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Hello? A man's voice, formal and careful. Is this Marlene Santos? This is Douglas Kim. I'm a mobile notary assigned to a signing connected to your name. I'm calling to confirm you requested notarization for a power of attorney and related property documents. My hand tightened on the phone. I did not request anything, I said slowly. There was a pause, paper shuffling. Then Douglas asked, in a tone that wasn't curious, required, Ma'am, are you being pressured to sign anything tonight? I stared back into the dining room, where Veronica's red nails tapped the folder like a metronome, and I realized this call wasn't random. It was the crack in their plan. Mr. Kim, I whispered, what time were you told to arrive? Within the hour, he said. And the instructions say, have her sign in front of family so she won't argue. My throat went cold, because if the notary had those instructions in writing, someone had already admitted coercion before it even happened, and Veronica thought I would never find out. I didn't go back into the dining room right away. I stayed in the hallway with my back against the wall, the phone pressed to my ear, while Douglas cleared his throat like he was choosing his words carefully. Mrs. Santos, he said, I'm not here to create conflict. I'm here to follow the law. If you're telling me you didn't request this and you feel pressured, I will not notarize anything. My eyes burned, not with tears exactly, but with that dry heat betrayal leaves behind. Can you send me the request details? I asked. The confirmation, the booking notes, the contact name. I can send the confirmation email and the order notes I received, he said. I can't send the documents themselves unless authorized, but I can preserve what I have. Please do, I said. And don't come. I won't, he promised. And I recommend you secure your identification. If someone is pushing a POA, they may have copies. Copies. That word hit like a memory, because Veronica had been helping for months. It started in October when Daniel insisted he set up auto-pay on my phone. He sat at my kitchen table while I made coffee, and he asked for my bank app login, just to make sure everything's connected. I hesitated. But he was my son. I'd rocked him through fevers. I'd paid for his college books with overtime and blisters. So I gave him the login. And that's how the payment happened. Daniel still had my banking access from October, and Veronica used it like it was permission. A week later, I came home and found a credit card letter opened on my table, already handled, with Veronica's smile in sticky note form. You're welcome. Then my mailbox started looking lighter. Less mail. Fewer statements. I told myself everything was digital now. That's what people did. Until my utility company texted me, past due reminder, past due. That had never happened to me. I paid it immediately, embarrassed, and then I checked my account and felt my stomach twist. A payment I didn't recognize. Kim Mobile Signing Services. My fingers went numb. The folder at dinner wasn't the first move. It was just the first move done in front of me. Douglas's email arrived while I stood in Daniel's hallway pretending my fresh air break was normal. Subject line, Mobile Notary Confirmation, Marlene Santos. I scanned it fast. Address, Daniel's house. Time window, within the hour. Contact, Veronica Bennett. And then, in the notes section, the line that made my breath hitch. Client may be resistant. Family will assist. Keep it moving. Resistant. Family will assist. Keep it moving. That wasn't concern. That was a script. They weren't only trying to take my house. They were trying to take my credibility. So if I protested, it would become proof I was unstable. I took screenshots. Then I forwarded the email to an old account Veronica didn't know about, the one I used for cleaning clients. I labeled the thread, Evidence. Do not delete. My phone buzzed again. A message from Lily. Mom, are you okay? Veronica says you're being difficult. Difficult. The word people use on women when women refuse to surrender quietly. I typed back, I'm okay. Don't sign anything. Don't agree to anything. Seconds later, Lily replied, Daniel says it's for your safety. Safety. It was always safety. I smoothed my face in the hallway mirror, calm eyes, steady mouth, then walked back toward the dining room. Veronica was mid-sentence. And we just want to avoid complications. You know how it goes when someone starts declining. She said it while looking at me. Every head turned like I'd entered a courtroom. I didn't sit down. I didn't touch the folder. I let the silence stretch just enough to make the air uncomfortable. Put it away, I said softly. Veronica blinked, performing surprise. Marlene, why are you— Put it away, I repeated. Same calm tone. Daniel's face tightened. Mom, stop, please. What is it? Lily asked again, more forceful now. Veronica reached for the folder, but I spoke before she could open it. A notary called me, I said gently, letting the words fall like snow. He asked me a required question. Are you being pressured to sign tonight? The room froze. Nico looked up, confused. Lorraine's wine glass paused midair. Veronica laughed, quick and brittle. Oh my God, you answered some random call? That's exactly what I mean. You're not thinking— It wasn't random, I said. It was scheduled, under my name, with your contact information. Daniel swallowed. Veronica, what do you mean scheduled? And the notes, I continued, voice still calm. Say I might be resistant and that family will assist. Daniel's mouth opened, then closed. Lily's eyes widened like a curtain had been pulled back. Veronica's smile stayed on, but her eyes flashed, then softened into practiced concern. Marlene, you're misunderstanding, she said. You worked today. You're tired. You get confused when you're overworked. Confused. There it was again, stamped like a label. I watched my son's face, caught between the woman he chose and the mother who raised him. His jaw tightened, but he didn't speak. And that silence hurt more than Veronica's words. I didn't argue at the table. I didn't accuse. I chose a clean exit. I'm leaving, I said calmly. I'll take my pie. Merry Christmas. Daniel stood abruptly. Mom, don't— I looked at him, not angry, just clear. Tell me you didn't know, I said quietly. His eyes dropped. He didn't answer. That answer was enough. I walked out with my coat, my pie dish, and my dignity still intact. The cold air hit my face, and I breathed like my lungs finally had room. In my car, I opened my bank app again and stared at that payment. Someone had already moved money in my name, which meant someone was already moving my life like they owned it. I drove home with steady hands and one decision hardening in my chest. I wasn't going to argue with Veronica. I was going to out-document her. Because one of my regular cleaning clients wasn't just any client. She was an attorney named Angela Park. And once, while I scrubbed her kitchen sink, she told me, if anyone ever tries to mess with your name, call me before you call family. I dialed her number. But before it could ring twice, a text came through from an unknown number. If you don't sign willingly, we'll have to file. I stared at that text until the letters stopped being letters and became a deadline with teeth. If you don't sign willingly, we'll have to file. Guardianship, conservatorship. Something that would put my life under someone else's thumb. My hand didn't shake, not because I wasn't scared, because I'd been scared before, and I'd learned fear could be managed if you gave it a job. I screenshot the text, then I hit call on the number anyway, straight to voicemail. A woman's voice answered, sweet and professional like a medical office greeting. Hi, you've reached the Bennetts. Leave a message. The Bennetts, Lorraine's last name. The threat wasn't coming from the shadows, it was coming from the family table. I didn't leave a message. I called Angela Park again. She answered on the second ring. Marlene? It's Christmas, I said, and my voice finally cracked a little. And my daughter-in-law put a power of attorney in front of me like a place card. Angela's tone turned instantly calm and firm. Are you safe right now? Yes. Good, she said. Do not sign anything. Do not let anyone bring a notary to you. Forward me everything you have. I have the booking email, I said, and a payment in my account. Perfect, Angela said. That's evidence. Tomorrow morning, go to your bank. Change access. Set a verbal password. Remove any linked devices. And tonight, gather your identification and your deed if you can. My deed is in my file cabinet, I said. Unless Veronica already... Assume she has copies, Angela said. Copies aren't the end, but access is. We lock that down first. What about my son? I asked quietly. Angela's voice softened just enough to feel human. Your son can love you and still be used. Protect yourself first. Sometimes love is the open door thieves walk through. The next morning, December 26th, I was at the bank before they finished unlocking the doors. No holiday softness left. Hair pulled back. Plain coat, plain face. A manager named Mr. Alvarez took me into his office. I showed him the transaction labeled Kim Mobile Signing Services and told him calmly that someone had accessed my account through a login I'd given my son months earlier. We can reset everything today, he said. New credentials, remove linked devices, revoke existing access, and open a new account number if you want. We can also set a verbal passphrase for heightened verification. Yes, I said. All of it. He nodded. Passphrase? I thought of my mother's voice in Spanish, the way she told us to stand tall. No agaches la cabeza. Don't lower your head. That, I said. That's my passphrase. Mr. Alvarez typed it in without blinking. Then he looked up. You should freeze your credit today. If someone is attempting power of attorney and property documents, they may try credit in your name. Credit freeze. I wrote it down like a mission. From the bank, I drove to Angela's office. Well, not her office. A referral she'd arranged with a seasoned elder law attorney named Rita Holloway. Angela couldn't formally represent me, but she got me connected urgently, because she understood something about family pressure. It moves fast when you hesitate. Rita's office was small and warm and lined with framed certificates. She didn't waste time on small talk. She read my screenshots, listened to the notary details, and watched my face like she was measuring whether I'd crumble. I didn't. Rita nodded. This is classic coercion. Holidays are used because witnesses make it look like consent. The notary's booking notes are significant. And the text about filing, I added. Rita tapped the screenshot. That's a threat. We take that seriously. What do we do? I asked. 3 tracks, she said. Money, property, and capacity protection. Money, you started. Property, we pull your deed history from the county registry and request copies of any submissions. Capacity, we schedule an expedited evaluation with your doctor. Not because I doubt you, because it cuts off their narrative. Their narrative. Confused, declining, resistant. You don't beat a lie by arguing, Rita said. You beat it by building receipts. She drafted a formal notice the same day. Cease and desist to Veronica and Lorraine. Stop attempting to obtain signatures. Stop using my name for notary appointments, and communicate through counsel. She also drafted a revocation declaration for any POA that might exist, and told me to gather everything Veronica had ever organized. And Marlene, she added, change your locks. My son has a key, I said, and the words tasted bitter. Rita didn't flinch. Then your son should no longer have a key. That night, my phone buzzed again. Daniel. I let it ring once, twice, then answered. Mom, he said, exhausted and defensive. What are you doing? Veronica is crying. Lorraine is saying you're having an episode. Episode. I stared at my kitchen table where I'd laid out documents like evidence in a trial. I'm not having an episode, I said calmly. I'm protecting myself. It was just paperwork, he pleaded. Why are you making it into a way to transfer property? I said gently. Daniel, did you read the document? Silence. Silence can be louder than shouting. Veronica's voice cut in, sharper, like she'd grabbed the phone. Marlene, you're being paranoid. We're trying to help you because you can't handle things alone forever. Stop, I said quietly. She laughed, cold. Or what? I looked at Rita's signed notice on my counter. Or my attorney will, I said. Veronica paused. You have an attorney? For the coercion, I said, and the payment made to a notary in my name. Daniel's voice rose, panicked. Payment? Veronica? What is she talking about? Veronica snapped. Hang up. Daniel didn't. Veronica, did you pay someone from Mom's account? And that's when my doorbell rang. I froze. I hadn't scheduled anyone. I peered through the window and saw Daniel on my porch, alone, holding a folder. And behind him in my driveway was Veronica's car. I didn't open the door right away. I watched Daniel through the glass, shoulders tense, jaw clenched, eyes scanning my porch like he expected cameras. The folder was pressed to his chest like it could shield him. Behind him, Veronica sat in her car with the engine idling, the perfect position to pressure without stepping into the spotlight. When someone brings paperwork to your doorstep, they're not visiting, they're advancing. Rita had warned me that morning. They'll try your doorstep next, because it feels personal and it pressures you. She was right. I opened the door just enough to stand in the frame. Daniel. Relief flashed across his face. Mom, can we talk? We can talk, I said. Outside. His eyes flicked past me like he wanted to step into my house the way he always had. I didn't move aside. He swallowed. Veronica thinks you misunderstood. I didn't, I said. He lifted the folder. We just want you to sign something that says we can help if you ever get sick. That's all. If I get sick, I repeated. Or if I refuse. Daniel flinched. Mom, come on. I stepped onto the porch, pulled the door closed behind me, and locked it. Not to punish him. To remind myself I still could. Daniel's eyes widened slightly. Are you locking me out? I'm locking my house, I said softly. He looked down. What's happening to us? What's in the folder? I asked. He opened it. Tabs, highlights, Veronica's handwriting on the sticky notes. Health, finances, real estate. My heart stayed steady. Did Veronica prepare these? She helped, Daniel said too quickly. Help. I turned my phone toward him. Daniel, did you know someone paid a notary in my name? His brow furrowed. What? Veronica's car door opened. She stepped out, smoothing her coat, face composed like she was arriving to fix a misunderstanding. Marlene, she called brightly. This doesn't have to be like this. I ignored her and kept my eyes on Daniel. I have the transaction, I said, showing him the screen, and I have the booking confirmation listing Veronica as contact, with notes saying I might be resistant. Daniel read, and his face went pale. Veronica? Veronica laughed too fast. That's not what you think. It says family will assist, I said. Assist with what, Veronica? My consent? Her smile tightened. You're twisting everything. From inside Veronica's open car window, Lorraine's voice suddenly carried. Too loud, too sharp. She's stubborn. That's why we need to file. She's proving she can't cooperate. Cooperate. Like I was a patient refusing medication. Daniel's head snapped toward the car. File what? Veronica spun, whisper shouting, Mom, stop! But Lorraine was already rolling downhill. The asset can't be left unprotected, Lorraine said. Nico needs stability. Daniel needs authority. Asset. The word hit the air like a slap. Daniel's eyes widened, then narrowed. Asset? Veronica's cheeks flushed. She doesn't know what she's saying. Lily's voice cut in from the sidewalk. I do. I turned. Lily stood at the edge of my yard, arms crossed, face pale. She must have driven over when Daniel did. I saw the folder at dinner, Lily said, and I saw Mom's face. Veronica, what are you doing? Veronica's smile stretched thin. Lily, this is family business. It became my business when you threatened facilities, Lily shot back. Veronica took one step closer to me, lowering her voice into that fake soft tone. Marlene, you're being emotional. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The hard way, I said calmly, is you stepping onto my property again after receiving my attorney's notice. Daniel blinked. Attorney's notice? I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out the sealed envelope Rita had prepared. I hadn't wanted to use it on my porch in front of my son. But Veronica had brought her plan to my door. I handed the envelope to Daniel. Read it. He tore it open with shaking fingers. His eyes moved across the page. His breathing changed. Veronica's posture shifted from confident to wary. Lily leaned in to read over his shoulder. Daniel looked up, voice cracking. Mom? You have a lawyer? Yes, I said. Because you didn't protect me. The truth doesn't need shouting. Veronica tried to laugh. A letter doesn't scare me. It's not to scare you, I said. It's to document you. I pulled out my phone and right in front of them typed a note. Date. Time. Who was present. What was said. I didn't need drama. I needed a record. Veronica's eyes narrowed. You're going to regret this. Daniel's voice sharpened. Veronica, did you schedule a notary without telling me? Veronica chose a lie. No. Lily didn't blink. Mom has the email, Veronica. Veronica's gaze snapped to Lily, furious. You're taking her side? I'm taking truth's side, Lily said. For the first time, Daniel looked like a man waking up inside his own life. Where is Mom's passport? He asked suddenly, voice rough. Her social security card? Veronica's smile broke. What are you talking about? They're missing, I said quietly. Lorraine's voice hissed from the car. Don't let her derail this, Daniel. Stop, Daniel snapped. The word hung there, unexpected and heavy. Veronica stared at him like she'd never considered he could speak back. Then she pivoted, because that's what manipulators do when cornered. Fine, she said, voice cold. If you want lawyers, don't be surprised when you get served. Served. I watched her climb into her car and peel out of my driveway like she was leaving a place she never respected. Daniel stood on my porch with the letter trembling in his hand. He looked at me with a face I hadn't seen since he was a child caught in a lie. Shame, confusion, longing. Mom, he whispered. I didn't want to hurt you. Then stop letting her, I said softly. He swallowed. What happens now? I looked past him at the street, quiet, winter sunlight on bare branches. Now, I said, we pull the county record. Because if Veronica had already tried to touch my deed, we were about to find out how far she'd gone. My phone buzzed, an email from Rita. Subject line, urgent, property record search. I opened it, and my knees almost gave out. Rita's email was short, and that made it worse. Marlene, a document was submitted for recording on your property 2 weeks ago. It was rejected due to an incomplete notary block. We are requesting the copy. Submitted 2 weeks ago. Rejected by a technicality, not by conscience. My legs remembered they were human. I sat down on the porch step because standing suddenly felt like pretending. Daniel's voice sounded far away. Mom, what is it? I held my phone up so he could see. His face drained of color. 2 weeks ago? That's before Christmas. Yes, I said quietly. Lily's mouth fell open. They tried to change the deed. Daniel shook his head hard, like denial could erase paper. No, Veronica wouldn't, but the evidence didn't care about his feelings. When you stop asking, would they, and start asking, how far did they go? Everything changes. Rita called minutes later. Marlene, listen to me. This is serious, but it's fixable. We're going to request the rejected copy formally, file a notice contesting any attempt, and document everything. If your signature is forged, we escalate. Escalate. That word steadied me. Also, Rita added, change locks immediately. Gather original IDs, passport, birth certificate, social security card, anything that could be used to impersonate you. My stomach turned. I can't find my passport. Daniel's brow furrowed. What do you mean? I think Veronica took it, I said. Daniel's jaw clenched. She wouldn't, Lily cut in. Daniel, she already scheduled a notary and threatened to file. She absolutely would. Daniel's eyes squeezed shut. When he opened them, something had shifted. Less denial, more dread. Rita's voice stayed firm. Marlene, report the IDs missing and place a mail hold. Identity abuse loves family situations. And do not meet with them alone. After the call, Daniel looked like a man trying to swallow a rock. I didn't know, he said hoarsely. I swear I didn't know about a deed. I believe you didn't forge my signature, I said softly. But you let her build a story about me. His eyes filled. She said you were going to sell the house and disappear. She said you were slipping. She said I needed to protect Nico. She made it sound like you were becoming someone else. Veronica had done what she wanted. Turn love into panic, panic into control. Manipulation doesn't arrive screaming. It arrives sounding reasonable. That night, Lily came over with a notebook and a calm that felt borrowed from people who've decided they're done pretending. We went through every folder Veronica had ever organized. We found a plastic binder labeled important in her neat handwriting, copies of my mortgage statement, my insurance policy, my bank routing number, a file on me. Then Lily opened my desk drawer and froze. Mom, she whispered. The space where my social security card lived was empty. Gone. I closed my eyes. She took it. Daniel's phone rang then. Veronica. He stared at the screen, hesitating. Answer, Lily said. Speaker. Daniel swallowed and tapped accept. Veronica. Her voice poured out, sugary and tight. Where are you? Your mom is spiraling. Lily is in her ear. This is exactly why we need to file, before she does something irresponsible. Daniel's voice shook. Veronica, did you submit anything to the county? Silence. Then a laugh that didn't sound like joy. What? No, that's insane. Daniel tightened his grip on the phone. Then why did a document get submitted 2 weeks ago? Another pause. Longer now. Veronica's tone sharpened. Who told you that? My mother's attorney, Daniel said, voice rising. Why does she have an attorney? What did you do? Veronica snapped, just for a breath, her real voice slipping out. I did what you were too weak to do. There. The mask didn't crack. It shattered. Lily's eyes widened. I stayed still, listening without interrupting, because people reveal the most when they think they're finally in control. Veronica kept going, faster now. Your mom is sitting on a house that could secure Nico's future, and she's stubborn. If she won't sign willingly, we have to move. Lorraine knows people. We can file for guardianship. We can show the court she's resistant and confused. Resistant and confused. The exact words from the notary notes. Daniel's voice cracked. Guardianship? Veronica, what are you talking about? Veronica hissed. Don't act shocked. You agreed we need authority. You said you were tired of worrying. Worrying. She had turned his love into a weapon. Daniel's breath went ragged. I meant if she got sick. I didn't mean stealing her house. Veronica laughed, cold. It's not stealing if it's family. I finally spoke, calm as ice water. It is, if it's forged. Veronica went silent. Then, slowly, Marlene? Daniel's face twisted. She's here. On speaker. Tell the truth. Veronica dropped into fake softness. Marlene, honey, don't be dramatic. Nobody forged anything. The county rejected it. It didn't even go through. Rejected. It didn't go through. She'd admitted she knew it happened. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I said one sentence, quiet and devastating. Thank you for confirming it was filed. Veronica's breath hitched. What? Your words, I said. Preserved, along with your threat to file guardianship. Daniel whispered, broken. Veronica, why? Veronica's tone turned sharp again. Because she won't listen. I ended the call, not out of spite, out of strategy. I saved the call log, wrote a summary memo for Rita, and let Veronica's own words become the record. Then I looked at Daniel. I'm changing my locks tomorrow, I said, and Rita is pulling the rejected document copy. Daniel nodded, swallowing hard. I'll give back my key. I held his gaze. You should have never let her take mine. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay in bed listening to every creak and every gust, imagining Veronica's red nails on my paperwork. At 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. An email attachment from an unknown address. Subject, draft, petition. I opened it. And there it was in bold black letters. Petition for appointment of guardian. Proposed guardian. Veronica Bennett. I read the draft guardianship petition 3 times before my brain accepted it. They weren't even pretending Daniel would be the guardian. Veronica wanted the title, the power, the key to my life. When someone aims for guardianship, they're not trying to help you live. They're trying to control how you're allowed to exist. I forwarded the petition to Rita immediately, then printed it because paper feels real in a way screens sometimes don't. I slid it into a folder labeled Evidence and set it on my kitchen counter like a line I could see. The next morning, a locksmith arrived at 9 a.m. Lily sat at my table while he replaced my locks. I watched the old deadbolt come off, metal that had protected me for years, then watched the new one go on, shining and unfamiliar. When the locksmith handed me the new keys, they felt heavier than they should have. Rita called at 10:30. "We received the rejected filing copy from the county," she said. "Come in." I drove to her office with Lily beside me, both of us quiet. Outside the windshield, the world looked normal. People returning gifts, kids on bikes, someone dragging a Christmas tree to the curb. Inside Rita's office, everything smelled like coffee and printer ink. She slid the document across her desk. Quitclaim deed. Grantor, Marlene Santos. Grantee, Daniel Santos and Veronica Bennett. And there, my signature was a shaky imitation, like someone had traced it from a scan and hoped no one would look closely. My stomach rolled, but my voice stayed steady. "That's not mine." Rita nodded. "I agree. The notary block was incomplete, which is likely why it was rejected. We're verifying the commission number listed, and we're preparing a formal complaint and an affidavit contesting any attempted transfer." Affidavit. Complaint. Words that sounded cold, until you realize cold is what keeps you safe. Rita moved quickly. She filed a notice contesting the attempt and requested heightened review for any future submissions tied to my property. She helped me complete the identity theft steps, credit freeze, fraud alert, and documentation of missing IDs. She instructed me to keep everything in a single folder with dates, times, and screenshots. Then she looked at me carefully. "Now we update your estate plan. My will leaves the house to Daniel and Lily," I said quietly. Rita's voice stayed firm. "Inheritance is not the immediate issue. Access is. I recommend a revocable living trust. You remain trustee while you're competent. You name a successor trustee who is not Daniel and not Veronica." I didn't hesitate this time. "Lily," I said. Lily stiffened, eyes shining. "Mom, I trust you," I said simply. Trust isn't a feeling. It's a decision based on behavior. That afternoon, Rita scheduled a formal meeting in her office. She sent Daniel an invitation through certified email and requested Veronica attend if she intended to pursue any family planning. They came. Daniel looked exhausted. Veronica looked polished, soft sweater, careful makeup, the face of a woman trying to appear reasonable to authority. Rita greeted them with professional cool. Lily sat beside me as witness. Veronica smiled. "We just want what's best for Marlene." Rita placed the rejected deed copy on the table. "Then explain this." Veronica's smile barely moved. "I have no idea what that is." Rita slid the printed guardianship draft next to it. "And explain this." For the first time, Veronica blinked too slowly. Daniel's voice cracked. "Veronica? You drafted this?" Veronica pivoted instantly. "It was a precaution. Your mother is difficult. She refuses help. She makes irrational decisions." Rita leaned back. "Mrs. Santos has secured her accounts, documented coercion attempts, and requested an expedited medical evaluation. If you file guardianship without legitimate medical grounds, we will contest aggressively." Aggressively. Veronica's fingers tightened around her purse strap. Daniel stared at the deed, then at me. "Mom, I didn't know she did this." I kept my voice quiet. You knew she wanted me to sign in front of everyone? He flinched. I thought it was harmless. Harmless paperwork doesn't need an audience, Rita said calmly. Veronica snapped, This is ridiculous. Marlene is being manipulated by Lily. Lily's voice didn't shake. No, Veronica. Marlene is being protected from you. Veronica's mask cracked, irritation spilling through. You're all acting like I'm some criminal. Rita tapped the deed. Forgery and attempted fraudulent recording are legal issues, not feelings. Daniel swallowed hard. Where are Mom's passport and social security card? Veronica lifted her chin. Why would I have those? They're missing, I said softly. Veronica laughed once, sharp. Marlene loses things. That's the point. Rita's gaze went cold. Choose your words carefully. This meeting is documented. For a moment, Veronica looked like she might explode. Then she did what manipulators do when cornered. She tried to become the victim. This is humiliating, she whispered. I'm married into a family that hates me. I didn't comfort her. I didn't attack her. I spoke to my son. Daniel, I said quietly, you can love me without controlling me, but you cannot call her plan help and call it love for me. Daniel's face crumpled. What do you want me to do? Give back your key, I said. Remove your access to my accounts, and stop letting her talk about me like I'm already gone. Rita slid a final document forward, an acknowledgement. No entry to my property without permission, no pursuit of signatures, no guardianship filings absent legitimate medical evidence. Any future contact about my assets through counsel. Veronica's jaw clenched. I'm not signing anything. Rita's tone didn't change. Then we prepare for court. Court. The word finally landed. Veronica's eyes flicked to Daniel, searching for rescue. He didn't move fast enough. Her hand trembled as she picked up the pen. She signed. Daniel signed too, eyes down. After they left, Daniel lingered in the doorway. Mom, he whispered. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. My throat tightened. I didn't hand him instant forgiveness like a movie. I told him the truth. I needed you to believe me before the paperwork. He nodded, tears bright. I do now. A week later, my missing documents showed up in a plain envelope in my mailbox. No return address. My passport and social security card, slightly bent, like someone grabbed them in anger. I didn't wonder who sent them. I locked them away. My house remained mine. My account stayed secured. My trust was set. My property record had documentation ready for scrutiny. And Veronica learned something she never planned for. I didn't go quiet to disappear. I went quiet to document. Have you ever noticed how the people who call you confused panic the most when you start keeping records?